Hello, everyone. Welcome to this meeting of the South Kingstown Town Council. It is Monday, November 25th. The time is 7:32. Our first order of business is the pledge to the flag. Tonight we have some Weebelo Scouts from Pack 51, the Wakefield Den, here to lead us. If you would all come up here in front of the podium. Just a moment. Whenever you guys are ready. Do we to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you. All right. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Council President Collins.
Here.
Council Vice President DeCruz.
Here.
Councilwoman Kelso.
Here.
Councilman McAtee.
Here.
Councilman Veely.
Here.
All members present.
Very good. Item 4 is the approval of minutes of previous meetings.
I'll make a motion to approve item 4, minutes for work session November 12th, regular session November 12th, and the closed executive session of November 12th.
Second.
So moved. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
That motion carries. Item 5 is the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
So moved. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
That motion carries as well. Brings us to item 6, licenses. 6A is a resolution granting a victualling license to Noodle Soup, Inc. of 99 Fortin Road in Kingston, subject to the issuance of a retail sales tax permit application by Zong Dongju, President, 30 Lower College Road, Kingston, Rhode Island. Is anyone here to speak on this item? Well, we can hold off and see if they arrive later. Okay. Well, maybe the next meeting. We shall see. And that brings us very quickly to item 7, public hearings. 7A is a public hearing relative to an application for a license to keep and sell alcoholic beverages in South Kingstown in accordance with the general laws of 1956. This is Class B victualler liquor license by VGB LLC, doing business as Pasquale's Pizzeria Napolitana, 59 South County Commons Way, Wakefield, Rhode Island, by Pasquale Iliano, member of the first floor dining and bar areas in accordance with a special use permit granted January 9, 2005 by the Zoning Board of Review, further defined in a site plan on file in the town clerk's office. Said license is to be effective on or after December 1st, 2019, and is contingent upon the issuance of a certificate of good standing from the Rhode Island Division of Taxation, filing of a certificate of insurance evidencing required liability coverage, compliance with all town ordinances and regulations, the payment of any municipal taxes and user fees and arrears to the town, and the correction of any fire code violations. Mr. Kenyon.
Thank you. Good evening. For the record, I'm John Kenyon, attorney for the applicant, VGB LLC. We're here tonight for 2 hearings. One is to increase the number of Class B liquor licenses by 1, and then the second one is to grant that license to my client. My client's leasing property at 59 South County Commons Way, which is the bottom floor, building 9 in South County Commons, in the space that was previously occupied by Shogun Restaurant. You may recall that Shogun's operated there for a number of years with a full liquor license. They vacated the premises, and the license was given up and returned back to the town. The applicant tonight currently operates Pasquale's Restaurant across the street at 60 South County Commons Way under a beer and wine liquor license. The applicant was looking for more space, more seating, and he'd also like the ability to have a full-service liquor license. He plans on operating the same type of restaurant as he's currently operating across the street. If the request is granted, he intends on transferring the existing liquor license to another entity that he would control, and what he's looking to do is a store where he would sell prepared foods, and he'd like to be able to offer a glass of wine while people are shopping. He'd also have food available for people while they're shopping. But we realize we need to come back at a later date to go through the transfer and the exact details of that liquor license. So tonight, we're just here for the transfer. He would keep operating at his current location if this is granted until 59 is... No, I'm saying he would transfer his current license in the future
The new business.
to a new business. Tonight, we're just here for the granting of a full liquor license across the street. When that building is done, he would cease operating in 60 South County Commons Way and begin operating across the street. There was some question whether he was going to have two restaurants at one time, and he does not intend on doing that. So
I just have a question. Does the applicant have to forfeit the existing beer and wine, or until, no? Would be 1 year of, okay. So we would hold that one, even though that establishment is closed, right? Does he have a year to,
It's not been closed. It's future point.
right.
right? I don't think you understand. Let me rephrase this. So what I'm hearing from the counselor is when the new establishment opens, hopefully with this new liquor license that we're seeking tonight, the old across the street establishment will close, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So now we have a beer and wine license sitting over at the old establishment, being unused.
It may be for a period of time, but they'll have it for a full year if you
Okay.
renew it.
That's my question.
And I think at that point, he's going to ask for a transfer.
Okay, that's my question. So he will hold both.
That you issue it, yeah.
Okay.
And it can't be used, it can't be taken by someone else without.
Correct. A transfer. Right. Okay.
We understand that they're separate issues. We just wanted to explain to the council what his intentions were. If I could have Pasquale come up.
Good evening, folks. Sorry about the confusion, by the way.
Just state your name for the...
We're applying for,
Pasquale,
yes,
state your
I'm
name for
sorry.
the record.
Pasquale
worry,
Liano.
Have to be
Sorry,
sworn
I'm
in.
like, yeah, I know, I'm not,
Pasquale,
we already did that, right?
are you a
Yeah.
member of VGB LLC?
Yes, I am.
And is VGB LLC leasing the property at 59 South County Commons Way?
Yes, it is.
And is that property the first floor of Building 9 in South County Commons?
Yes, sir.
And was there a business in that location previously?
Yes.
What kind of business?
Shogun?
Shogun Restaurant?
Yeah, Shogun Restaurant, Japanese Steakhouse. Yeah.
And do you currently operate a restaurant across the street at 60 South County Commons?
Yes, yes, I do.
Can you briefly explain your current operations to the council?
All right, Pasquale's across the street has been open for 5 years now, and I'm very grateful, by the way. And there was the opportunity when Shogun left the business that, according to the volume of the business we do, we kind of sort of need a bigger location. So I've been talking to the South County Commons management, and we decided to move VGB and the whole operation across the street with Shogun because it would give us a little more room, a little more comfort for everybody there, and the opportunity of operating with a full liquor license, which is something that customers, they've been asking me for, you know, the course of the time that we've been operating. And what else? Like,
In the new location, will you have more space?
yeah, we will have more
seating?
space. It's about double the seating, and on top of that, we're going to have a patio for the summertime. It's fully renovated. We are under the process right now. We're close to the finishing, and
And since you've been operating for the past 5 years, have you had any issues with your liquor license?
absolutely not.
And what are you going to do with the current location once the new one?
Yeah, so here's the thing, you know, I was also looking for, I had this idea of having an Italian store and a gelato operation. And ever since, the previous investment on the old location, spoke to the Sac County Commonwealth the possibility to keep the whole spot and developing the idea of an Italian store, with all fresh Italian products, homemade pastas, sauces, and all that, and homemade gelato in the same store. And with that, I would think that beer and wine license will work well, because, if somebody would come and, let's say some ladies will meet together and come and shop for food and stuff like that, they would be able to sit down, have a cheese platter, charcuterie, and enjoy a glass of wine. As well as, if they bring in a kid, they want to spend some time in there. So that is the reason why I was thinking about keeping the beer and wine in there.
So in your understanding, we'd have to come back
Yes,
sometime in
yeah,
the future and do
absolutely.
all that?
Yes.
Thank you. And your hours of operation, are they going to change at all?
At the new location, most likely the same. We might bump up an hour or so, but according to whatever town, requirements.
And the new location, will you hire new employees for the additional space?
I would say the same employees. Obviously, we got to hire a little bit more, but I would say pretty much the same.
Same menu?
Same menu. We're going to tweak it a little, but it'll be the same way.
I have no further questions. If the council has any?
When do you expect to make the move? When do you expect to open in the new space?
Oh, the new place? We close. We're a few weeks away, technically. So.
All right, thank you very much, gentlemen. Anything for the record, Dale? Or? All right, at this point then, it's public hearing. We'll open the floor up to any public comments that might be out there. Dale, was there anything that we needed to add to the record or any questions?
Pasquale's got a cold, so he can't hear too well. Were you planning on opening before December 9th?
Absolutely. Hopefully.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. We're running every day. We're trying to do everything,
They need to, the victualling license didn't get on the agenda tonight, so it sounds like we're going to have to wait until
2 weeks.
2 weeks for you to get the victualling license.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's not going to be a problem.
All right. So I didn't see any public comments. Do I hear a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make a motion that we close the public hearing.
So moved. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And with that, I'll bring forward item 13A, which is a resolution affirming or amending the town's liquor license rules and regulations, Section 1. Current numbers of licenses for each class are authorized as shown on the agenda. If we would like to move forward with 7A, then we will need a motion on 13A to move the Class B victualler to 27 from 26.
I'll make a motion to, on agenda item 13A, to increase the number of Class B victualler licenses from 26 to 27.
Second.
So, do I hear an amendment to that
I'll
motion?
amend that motion to also reduce the Class B limited, do I have that right, Dale, from 5 to 4?
And,
Second.
all right, so moved. Any discussion? All in favor, it's on order at this point, say aye.
Aye.
That motion carries. And then we can go back to item 7A.
I'll make a motion to approve 7A.
Second.
I realize that is, but that was the public hearing portion of the agenda. So we have a motion and a second. Do we have discussion?
Can we reopen the public hearing?
But, no.
Just asking.
All right. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And that motion carries. Sorry, sir. When we get to public comments, please rise and address us. 7B is a public hearing to consider proposed amendments to the Town Code, Chapter 18.5, Tree Ordinance, Article 1 in general, and Article 2, Tree Warden, that would establish the position and authority of a deputy tree warden. So this would just add language that says, defines the deputy tree warden. Deputy tree warden means any person or persons possessing the same qualifications of the tree warden as outlined in this chapter, who is designated or otherwise appointed by the tree warden. And it has a couple of amendments as shown on the agenda. Did we want to have somebody come up to the podium?
Good evening, councilors. This amendment adds a definition of deputy tree warden to the tree ordinance and assigns authority of the deputy tree warden, which works under the town's tree warden. This language is consistent with Rhode Island general law and supported by the Tree Conservation Commission, acting as the tree board. They believe it will help the Department of Public Services process tree permits, tree applications, and other administrative duties in a more efficient manner.
Thank you, Jay. Any questions for Jay? Very good. This being a public hearing, we open this issue up to the public as well. Any comments are welcome. All right, seeing none.
I'll make a motion.
Wait, hold on. You can come up to the podium, sir. If you have something to, this is just on this particular issue. So this is the tree warden. Okay. I think that motion is in order.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
So moved. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And that motion carries. And do I hear a motion on 7B?
I'll make a motion to approve 7B.
Second.
So moved. Further discussion? All right. I look forward to the deputy tree warden helping us out with our tree issues in town. All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And that motion carries. And that brings us to item 8, communications. 8A is a letter dated October 25th, 2019, from Robert Gaudreau, the president of Cathedral Development Group, to the South Kingstown Housing Authority, seeking their support and approval to allow Rhode Island Housing to provide a project-based voucher contract for 14 units at Meadowbrook Apartments, continued from the November 12th meeting. Is anybody here from Cathedral Development Group? I do know that somebody from the Housing Authority is here. Would you care to speak to this issue? No. All right. Do I hear a motion on this?
I'd like to make a motion that we encourage the Housing Authority to work with Cathedral and Rhode Island Housing to approve the vouchers.
Second.
So, discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That motion carries. 8 E is a communication dated November 19th, 2019, from Thomas Russell on behalf of the Glen at Saugatucket Homeowners Association, expressing concerns regarding property located at 72 Sophia Court. This has been received and placed on file. We did have a chance to discuss it at some length in the work session. Looking forward to further discussion right now.
Thank you. Good evening, and thank you for allowing me to speak at your semi-monthly meeting. First, I'd like to hand out a couple of things for the... I apologize. First of all, my name is Tom Russell at 83 Sophia Court. And I apologize. I thought I had enough copies.
We were given an... Okay.
You can share.
As a member of the Board of Directors of the Glen at Saugatucket Homeowners Association, I'm here tonight to share several HOA concerns with the Council. Each of you should have received a copy of my November 19th correspondence. Has everyone had a chance to at least look at the email? Okay, great. You'll note that the HOA has two primary issues relating to the owner of Sophia Court, 72 Sophia Court. Namely, he has apparently converted his single-family dwelling into a multi-family housing without town zoning reapproval. And ancillary negative effects this has had on the neighborhood: fire, public safety, traffic, additional stress on our community septic system, etc. Of the 14 households in the neighborhood, 65% are comprised of persons over the age of 60 who moved there to enjoy their peaceful retirement years. Living in a neighborhood where a homeowner rents rooms to 3 to 5 typical URI college students is not what anyone could have been expected. The second issue the homeowner has apparently made some home improvements without obtaining the necessary town building improvements. Making material structural changes, including electrical, plumbing, and wall installations, creates the potential for fires and other type of damage to that structure undergoing the modifications, as well as neighboring homes which could be affected, since no building permits were issued, and as a result, no town fire or safety inspections would have been performed. The lack of such inspections may jeopardize the lives of the inhabitants as well as the neighbors living nearby. Putting a historical perspective on these issues, please keep in mind that they date back to at least 2017 and continue today, despite corrective action promised by the building department management. To, first of all, issue a failure to comply notice to Mr. Odell, owner of 72 Sophia Court, and if there was no response, then refer the matter to town legal counsel so that they could issue a more strongly worded compliance letter to Mr. Odell. During the last couple of years, I have requested the town building department manager to send me copies of all letters and correspondence sent to and received from Mr. Odell. To date, I have not received any copies of the failure to comply notice, nor letters from Mr. Odell to the town, as well as any correspondence between the town and the town's legal counsel. Mike Ustillo of that particular firm. Consequently, the only conclusion I can draw is that there's been no written follow-up taking place. Council members have been provided with 24 pages of documentation, and I have now added a few more additional photos taken today supporting our concerns. Further information is also available upon request. Finally, the property 2 doors down from Mr. Odell's has been up for sale for several months, even though its price has been dropped a number of times. I suspect that once prospective buyers have seen the condition of this unkept multifamily rental housing, I would not be surprised if they just walked away. This, of course, hurts the neighborhood by lowering our property values, thereby presenting roadblocks to future home sales. In conclusion, I would appreciate the council's written reply to my letter prior to its next meeting on December 6th. Hopefully, it will cover items outlined in my letter in general, and in particular, the town's apparent reasons for not responding to our requests for corrective action, even though we've been told that they'd take place, management's seeming indifference toward Mr. Odell's lack of compliance to town directives, and lastly, its lack of conformity to its own town operating procedures. Thank you again for your patience and attention this evening, and I look forward to future discussions on this matter. Again, thank you very much, and have a great Thanksgiving. What you have there is the latest pictures of today, so if you want to consider that to be the smoking gun, that's fine. You will find about halfway through this larger portion of the packet a schedule of exhibits, and that kind of timelines it a little bit for you if that makes it any easier for you gentlemen and ladies to make a decision. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to entertain them.
Thank you, Mr. Russell.
I have a question, Mr. Russell. You have bylaws for this association?
Yes, sir, we do.
Okay.
And they do violate a number of things, including we don't allow businesses in the neighborhood.
Does it clearly state out in your bylaws about turning, I guess, how many dwellings can be on one particular property?
It's all single family.
Okay.
So what he has basically done, in my opinion, again, we are not allowed to go inside, is he now lives in the basement. He has a separate egress from the basement. He's a walkout area. But considering the not truckloads, but volume of sheetrock that's gone in there, the volume, the fact that he's taken out those dollies, what do we call those, mollies, to hold up ceilings and stuff like that. There's pictures of those. I'm sorry. Pictures of those in your packet. It's pretty obvious to me that something more than just minor home improvements are being made. And again, this dates back to 2017. I would suspect he has a full kitchen down there in his lower level, bedroom complex, whatever he needs. This shows you the air conditioning, the before and after pictures of what he started with and what he has now, even though he denies he has any HAV on the premises. He's kind of fibbed a bit. Do I answer your question, sir?
You did. I guess what I'm looking for is to see if there's anything in your bylaws that you could use to enforce the violation.
We have sent him several correspondence regarding violations of the bylaws. A couple he has actually taken some corrective action with, having to do with his garbage cans being out front and stuff like that. But we've explained to him that it is not in the best interest of the community that he continues this project. In fact, one of the neighbors who lived directly next door physically sold his home and left. He's now living in North Kingston. He and his wife were fearful. There were some incidences that are related to in the emails and the subsequent emails that you folks got in your packages, talking about an incident where a fellow, one of the residents of this place, mistook the address. He came home plastered, took one in the house next door, which was open, and walked into a small girl's bedroom. And it's one of the sections of the emails there. So, but this couple, very nice elderly couple, he's 82, and I don't know her age. She looks younger than she probably is. And but they said we can't put up with this anymore. We're scared.
Is Sophia Court all over 55, or is it?
No, I don't know if it's advertised as that. I don't know. There might be a couple of young families in there, young meaning 40-ish, but it's 14 homes. Goes up in the cul-de-sac and comes right back. It's right off of North Road. And so it's very small, very kind of intimate there. Nice little quiet place, we thought. But, at one time there were rowdy parties and a bunch of other things, but they might not, that depends on who is staying at the houses and who's staying at this particular house, the particular residence. So that's kind of where we're at, but there's definitely pictures there that shows that there is air conditioning. It's good, it's open, and those are fresh off the press.
Thank you, Mr. Is there anyone else to speak on this communication?
Actually, our homeowners association president, Steve, was going to show up, but his wife just came back from the hospital today. He picked her up, and he thought everybody stay home with her. She had a colonoscopy, and they're no fun.
So, any other questions for Mr. Russell at the moment? I would just like to let Wayne come up and sort of explain the town's response, or what you see as a lack of response in some ways. And I do apologize. It sounds like a very frustrating experience. I have no doubt about that. And I don't think any of us question the evidence that you've presented as being real. But I'll let Wayne sort of explain
Sure, I'll take a seat then.
what we have to go through.
Thank you for your attention.
Good evening, members of the Town Council. I'll give you a little bit of history on this property relative to the complaints we initially received. Dated back probably about a year and a half ago when we got complaints that there were multiple people living at the residence in excess of what our ordinance allows, more than 3 unrelated, as well as work that had taken place there without permits. We went out to the site, attempted to contact the owner, didn't have any luck contacting him relative to who was occupying the dwelling, but we did find evidence that there was an HVAC condenser installed on the side of the house, in which we then issued a notice of violation on that. It was subsequently removed shortly thereafter, and we didn't do anything further. We did send out a notice to the homeowner asking for verification of who was living there. We did not get any response from him, and had also indicated to us that he would not gain us access into the house to verify if any work had taken place within the house. With that, we had consulted legal counsel, and with no further evidence, the case was basically closed at that point. Shortly there, well, I want to say probably the beginning of the summer, we began to receive additional complaints about work taking place. We received photos from, I believe it was Mr. Hartley, Steve Hartley, of photos of a plumbing truck out front, of some lolly columns on the front lawn, lolly columns which support the beams in the basement. We then tried to, again, knock on the door to reach out to the homeowner, as that is the only legal access we have, is to knock and ask if we can gain entry and ask what's going on. We're not able to speak with the contractor. If they were in the house, they were not making themselves available to us as well. There was no further follow-up with that, as we only had evidence of the truck being parked out front, and again, no cooperation from the homeowner. We then, as a matter of fact, today Mr. Hartley was in my office with additional photos, some of which I believe were probably in your packet, with another HVAC truck out front, as well as an open gate to the area in which the previous HVAC equipment was installed. The homeowner installed this fence around it to kind of screen the fact that he reinstalled the HVAC equipment. This gate was open, the photo was taken, that was what was provided to us today. We immediately went out there, back out onto the site with Mr. Hartley to gain access to the area which is known as the common area within the development, so we could, for ourselves, take photos. We have to verify the violation ourselves. Getting photos from somebody is not enough to establish what the facts actually are, that the photos, when they were taken and so forth. So we actually have to document them. When we pulled up to the site, the HVAC truck was there. We didn't find anyone there associated with it. They may have been inside. Upon walking down the common area to gain access visually to this open gate, we then found out was the homeowner came running out of the front door of the house, immediately ran over to the side, closed the gate before we could visually verify that, in fact, the equipment was put back there, although there was evidence provided that that is, in fact, the case. Our inspector did speak with the homeowner at that same point, telling him what we were there for, that we had received complaints about not only the occupants, but the work taking place there. He informed us that we were not allowed inside his house, and that if we wanted to gain access to his house, that we would need to get a warrant from a court. Based upon that, our hands are tied in any further action until we either gain access into the residence or find evidence that there is in fact a violation, in which we would immediately issue a violation to that effect.
What does it take to get a warrant, I guess?
We would bring a petition in court, in district court, to obtain that. So you're aware of everything that's going around. Obviously, my office is going to follow up. I don't want to go too much further with the exact procedures, but there are legal procedures that we can follow at this point.
Mike, is it your recommendation to, proceed with that?
Yes, absolutely. We really don't have any other choice.
So given that, at this point, it would be in order to simply make a referral of the correspondence to the solicitor's office?
Sounds like a good plan. Mr. Russell, did you want to say any last thing before we take that action?
The main thrust of this is what I don't understand, and again, I'm not used to the protocols.
Just
all this good stuff. I'm not used to all the protocols, but if somebody says, do this, which is the first letter that went out, and there's no response, and your own procedures say we're supposed to issue something within 30 days or something like that, it's nearly 2 years since that failure to comply. If it was issued today, it would be nearly 2 years after rather than 30 days. That's one of my main concerns, so hopefully the council can address that in a reply. But thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
We can get this thing.
Yeah, I'd just like to kind of comment on that. I think when we initially got that complaint, I think we hastily sent out a notice of violation, not realizing that we really didn't have any backup for that, other than sending a notice to the homeowner asking for any lease agreements that he may have associated with the people that may be living there. As you know, up to 3 unrelated can live there under our ordinance without providing us any information. When we didn't receive anything from the homeowner, in fact, he basically told us that we weren't going to be gained entry into his home, other than getting the information from the homeowners living there that these people were in fact living there. We had no way to justify if in fact that was the case. So it's a difficult thing to do. Unless we receive fact that more than 3 unrelated are living there, then we can act upon it. But for somebody to just say that, it's a difficult thing. So I do apologize that we initially sent out that request, did not get anything, and then I think I followed up with Amy, where she said that, you know what, you can't pursue this any further.
And again, just so that the town council has some comfort here, there's no law that says you can't have 2 kitchens in your house. My aunt, for the holidays, always needed a second kitchen downstairs to bake the pies. So, are there more than 3 unrelated? The fact that maybe a new kitchen has been put in, or now whether or not they got the permits, I agree, that's a different issue. But in terms of actually doing those types of things, so my only point is, it's complicated. But we'll pursue it and do our best to get to the bottom of it.
Thank you.
Just so the council is also aware, the notice of violation with regard to the one thing we could see from a lawful vantage point was acted upon. When a notice of violation was sent to the homeowner that the air conditioning unit was installed without the proper permits, that air conditioning unit was removed. That's the last thing we were allowed to see. All other enforcement was dependent upon access to the property, which we were denied.
Clearly, this person seems to have a knack for knowing the law, the limits of it. All right.
I'll make a motion to place communication item 8E on file and refer it to the solicitor.
Second.
So moved. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
8E is a communication dated November 19th, 2019 from, no, sorry, that was it. I stopped myself in time. All right, item 9, comments from interested citizens. This is anybody's opportunity to rise and tell us whatever they're thinking. Just state your name for the record, please.
Leslie Schwannard, 9 Emmett Lane in Peacedale. First of all, a shout out to Joe for being the new director of the Southern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce. I know you'll do a good job. And actually, I have an article here for you with your picture in it, so I'll give it to you after. Secondly, that's not why I was here, but I wanted to say Joe's always been a good business person, especially for Peacedale. He's helped us out a lot. And Dale, what are we going to do without you? I mean, you know, I'm getting to the point that I don't know a lot of people in the town hall anymore. And your department has always been helpful. And
Well, thank you, Leslie, but there will be people here to help you.
oh, I know the people in your department that, you know, will help, but I'm going to miss you. I'm going to miss you a lot. Why I am here tonight is that I'm here to speak about the live streaming for the town council meetings. I like it on, like you've done, like we have it on the internet, and we have it, but I like it on the TV, because I am a dinosaur. I don't do the live streaming, and actually I've taken a little survey myself with people, so we really like being on television, you know, turning on the television in the comfort of our own homes and not looking at little screens. So I'm urging you. We went through this, I think, a couple more years ago, and I think the town decided to go back to what we know. And so that's why I'm here tonight, that we go back to using the television. You know, do the live streaming if you want, which I don't really even know what it is. But I can tell you that a lot of people that I've talked to in my age bracket really like turning on the TV, and we do watch. And I think that there was, I think you said, sir, that you took a survey, right? Or you didn't get a response to a survey. Is that what you said? It said in the newspaper that Mr. Zanacki didn't get a response to reaching out.
No, actually, the only data we have on this is that we have 52 people who watch per
Right.
meeting online, and there are no data collected or available for the number of people who watch on television live.
And I can tell you a lot of us watch. And the thing is, too, having it live at the time, and I think some of you people that have been here before notice that if you see something and all of a sudden you want to comment on it, you get in your car and you come right over, and you don't have to wait 2 days or whatever. So I'm really encouraging us to go back to what we did before. And again, I might be the dinosaur, but I also want to turn on the TV, and if there's something that I want to comment on, I want to get in my car and I want to come and comment on it. I don't want to wait 2 days or whatever. So I hope that you will consider it. And I looked at the prices, too. I mean, you know, I'm a taxpayer here. I'm a senior citizen on a fixed income, but to me, it's worth it. Even if we have to increase, I just think it's worth it. I think it brings people together. If they want to comment immediately on something, they can come over and comment immediately on something. And you won't even get the phone calls because they'll be here to talk with you. So that's all I have to say. And good luck, Dale, in your endeavors.
Well, could I
I'm
just
going to
make
miss
a-
you.
Leslie, I just wanted to make a quick comment. One of the reasons why we were looking at going with a live stream was so that we could live stream more of our other town meetings as well.
I saw that, and I think you said that the disc would be available, et cetera. But I think that a lot of people watch the town council meetings. I know I do. I know a lot of other. I was just talking to somebody tonight about it. So, Brian, I hope we're going to keep what we had. Again, we went through this before, and then the town went back to, the live thing. So I'm hoping that we will do that. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
All right. Are there other public comments tonight? Comments up at the table here. Sure.
I would have laminated it.
I read them both, thank you. Thank you.
So comments from council members? Well, I had the pleasure of participating in Gears production. Three of my smaller children were all part of this play put on at the high school last weekend, which brought me full circle. I think the last play I was in was actually when I was in elementary school in Matunic. So a lot of appreciation to Gear Productions and the work they do in the schools, getting everybody to participate. And then we're coming up on Thanksgiving, so I just want to remark how grateful we are to live in a community like this, and I wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. And with that, we can go to the town manager's report.
I'll try to highlight South County Hospital, the expansion for parking on the property adjacent to South County Hospital, Park. That application process has continued. There's not a whole lot more to report since the last meeting, except that we have scheduled a public meeting before the Recreation Commission for December 4th. The hospital will participate in that meeting. We are anticipating a public hearing before the council on December 9th to authorize the town to make the application for conversion of that park property to something other than park property. I will note that the procedure that we're using here will be sort of bifurcated. There will be a public meeting on the 4th for the Rec Commission, and the public hearing on the 9th dealing with the application for conversion. Not the question of shall we do the swap, but rather shall we submit an application which, if approved by the federal government, will allow us to do the swap. There will be a second public hearing before any action is taken to actually transfer a property or accept property. We're doing that in part because the property that the hospital is proposing to give to the town in exchange for the property that the town would give up isn't owned by the hospital at this point. They've got an agreement, or they're in the process of getting an agreement for the purchase of that property, but they will not own the property. So we're sort of in a situation where we've got to figure out how to proceed with the application without being able to fully disclose the value of the property that would be exchanged. The council is going to tell the council on the 9th that we are talking about a substantial increase in the size of property available for recreation. And we are also talking about an increase in the value of the property. The value of the property in terms of dollars will be greater. We'll accept a larger and more valuable piece of real estate in exchange for the smaller and less valuable property that we give up. We will be able to describe on the 4th and the 9th in great detail the attributes, physical attributes of the property, the value of the property. Proceed to ask the question, shall we submit an application? Is the information that we've given sufficient to at least ask the federal government whether they would permit the conversion? That's our plan. It should work if if, we've talked to DEM, DEM's fine with that procedure, so long as folks understand that we're only asking the first question, we cannot answer the second question, we'll leave it swap. I will note that the town beach after October 30 and 31 has experienced extreme erosion. We've got the exposure of some pilings and cement footings from the old pier down there right now. Will have to be monitored for the winter, and then we'll have to do some sort of beach replenishment the Upper College Road project and its potential impact on Princeton Branch Library parking. We think we're in productive conversation with the university. We don't think this issue is going to be a problem, but we are still concerned. There are 6 spaces that we've used up there for at least more than a decade that are slated for some sort of reassignment. The school facilities improvement program changes, we've gone over those a lot. So council feeling comfortable with where we are on this. There's been a lot of change in the last few weeks. I think everybody's read about it. The Oliver Watson property, the council was out and visited that property last, spring? Yeah, it was a while ago. We have made several attempts over the years to sell that property. The most recent attempt was to offer it for sale through a request for proposals procedure. The proposals that came in were not very attractive to the town. They came in at values that were well below the market value. We had contemplated going out and hiring a realtor to market the properties for better value. Using a realtor's first advice was, we've got to change the zoning so that the property can be maximized, given our staff and planning department not have time or the ability to go through a rezoning of that property. With Terry and Kayla have been working on it sort of as a backbone position. That work is continuing, and we know that we try to get that done this winter so that we're ready for the market. On the issue of the planning director, we completed preliminary interviews for the planning director. I was incredibly impressed with our applicant pool. We just had a phenomenal group of applicants who applied for that job. 3 finalists have been selected. Have interviews, executive session with the planning board on December 5th. With hopefully a recommendation to the manager of that meeting selection.
Rob, can I ask a quick question? Who determined the 3 finalists?
It was a panel made up of the former director of planning here, Mike DeLuca from Narragansett, the planning director there, Abby Ryder, the vice president for development at URI, John Schock, Lee Kendall, and I.
Thank you.
Now, I'm going to share this with you. This is one of the most interesting maps I've seen in a long time. I asked Carol Baker down in the planning department to put this map together. And what this map shows is affordable housing in South Kingstown. The red properties on the map are low-income, moderate-income housing as defined by Rhode Island Housing. They are units that are deed restricted and have been sold for a state has determined qualifies them as low and moderate housing. That price is $329,000 per unit. Now, if we look at
What was the price, 329?
329, if we look at what has sold in South Kingstown, the blue dots are what has sold in the last 3 years
For under 329?
for under 329. And the green parcels are parcels that are valued by the tax assessor at less than 329. What this map shows us is that the market produces sales, a lot more sales, than the state program produces. And that the market also has a number of housing units throughout the town that are what would qualify as low and moderate income, but for the deed restriction. What's really difficult for me to sort of understand is the objective of this policy, or the state policy here. We don't get credit for the ones that sell under 329. We don't get credit for the units that are valued at less than 329. We only get credit for the ones that are deed restricted and sell for less than 329, regardless of who buys them. We know anecdotally that many of these units are purchased by buyers who have sold homes in order to purchase them. They're retirees who sell a home in New York or Connecticut. Because they've retired, they have low incomes. They come in and they buy the low and moderate income housing in South Kingstown. So we end up with folks who are wealthy, though they don't have high income, purchasing homes. And we have folks who purchase affordable units who don't necessarily get any state assistance in the repair of those homes. If we take this corner up here, we've got a unit here that's sold for $329, a unit across the street that's sold for $329, actually a couple of units. Developers tell us that they're having difficulty selling the deed restricted units because there are units that cost about the same price in the neighborhood that have no deed restriction. So if you're a low-income family, young family, if you buy the deed restricted house for $329, you can never realize an appreciation of the value of that house, because it's always got to be sold as low income. Whereas if you buy the one across the street, you can fix it up and make a profit. We've got three problems with the policy that this does not show. One, we're not counting all of our low and moderate housing. Two, the policy is actually assisting those it's not meant to assist. It's helping wealthy people who are simply showing low income. And three, it's hurting the people it's meant to assist because they cannot use property as a way to increase family wealth. It's a fascinating matter. That's my report.
Thank you. Any questions for Rob?
The only comment I would make is that's all true, what you said about the, there are folks who are downsizing from other places who try to buy affordable units, but they don't show much income, but they could have $1 million in the bank. And then the other part is that there are young people who I've tried to help in the past who are concerned about buying deed restricted because of the simple fact that what if they want to sell it in the future? And they're not going to be allowed to make a profit, or a significant profit, I guess.
And all of this would just be tragic policy on a state level, except that it triggers an exemption from our local regulations, because we only get to count the red dots. Developers who want to come in and ignore many of our regulations are allowed to do so because we're not 10% red dots.
All right. Not going to solve that one today. It's solicitor's report. That brings us to item 12 on the agenda, which is appointments.
Were you able to get an answer, Rob?
Yes, I did. So the school committee recently established a subcommittee of the school committee to deal with budget. So it's a school committee subcommittee on budget. It consists of 2 school committee members, Emily Kaminsky and Kate Mazzanotti are the 2 school committee members. They have requested at their last meeting that a member of the town council serve as a liaison to that subcommittee. The subcommittee's form is still taking shape. They're expecting to bring 2 or 3 administrators onto that committee, and they may in the future bring members of the community. As of right now, the only membership, though, are the 2 school committee members. They've asked that a member of the town council serve as a liaison, and from there it'll take the shape it takes.
All right. And so that would be item B. Do we have a resolution tonight? A volunteer?
Or you expressed interest in it before? And being an accountant, I think, would be a good fit.
Yeah, so I've spoken to the chairperson of the school committee. I've given her the understanding that, in the next few months is my busy season. I'd be happy to assist and use the skills I've gained in public accounting to, work with this group and advise the school committee on their spending as it relates to the school budget upcoming. A couple things that I've asked of her, and it's not exactly clear at this time what the date and times of these meetings will be. I've requested that, if there are to be meetings, they do not occur anytime before 7 p.m. If it does, it'll be hard for me to attend all the meetings. I'm just trying to be an effective member, the best that I can be, and use my skill set to advise the group as best that I can. But yeah, I'm interested in this. I think that I can act as a strong liaison for the council and vice versa for the subcommittee to the school committee. So yeah, I'd be happy to take on this role and become a member of the school committee subcommittee, or the budget committee. Is that what it's called there?
Should we wait till we get an answer from them about meeting times to make sure that it is, you're well suited?
Yeah, absolutely.
to it?
I think that
So
makes sense.
Can we hold off on an appointment? Is that going to?
I'd agree with that.
So in communication with the superintendent this evening, she indicated that the times have not been set. And so it's not just that we don't have the information, it's simply that the committee has not reached that point of organization.
But usually a committee is going to look at the availability of its members
I would think.
to determine time.
I would presume if we appointed Rory tonight, then he would have some input on the timing of the meeting.
And if it doesn't work out, we could always reappoint.
All right.
Comfortable with that, Rory?
I'm comfortable with that. I've made it clear to Chairperson Cantor that, my busy season is over the next few months, and obviously that coincides with the budget season with the town. I'm happy to assist and use my experience to help them, and I think it would help us as well, getting an understanding as to the details within the spending there. So I'm committed to do this.
Thank you. Do I hear a resolution?
I'll make a motion to appoint Rory McEntee to the school committee's budget subcommittee as an ex officio member.
So moved. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That motion carries. And 12C is, I guess there's one or maybe two.
It's one.
Just
Right.
one.
Is it one?
This is an appointment requested by the school committee to name a replacement for
Pauline?
Pauline Lessie, the former assistant superintendent. That was an appointment made by the town council, and again, the town council, when it made the appointment to the school committee, affirmed all of the members. This was, in fact, one of the positions that the council had picked as its own, if you will, but it also, I think, would require town council approval, even if this were simply affirming the appointment of a school committee member, school committee appointee.
And so they've recommended a particular...
We've actually had, they recommended someone who was at the last meeting but had not been appointed by the council as of yet.
I would
Is that Kate?
welcome that resolution.
I'll make a resolution to appoint Kate Massinanti to the School Building Committee.
Second.
So moved. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And that motion carries. That brings us to new business. 13D is a resolution approving a lease of municipal waterfront property at Marina Park on Salt Pond Road to Stone Cove Marina. This is for the operation of a marina and authorizing the town manager to execute a lease agreement on behalf of the town. Said lease shall provide a 20-year term in accordance with specific terms and conditions, including establishment of fixed annual rental payments, specified in a memo from the Director of Leisure Services to the town manager, dated November 5th. I guess we could actually take D and E together. E is a resolution approving a lease of municipal waterfront property at Marina Park on Salt Pond Road to Point Judith Yacht Club for the operation of a nonprofit club and marina.
I'll make a motion that we approve item 13D and E.
Second.
I just have a question of Rob. The people that these leases apply to, not just public notice, have been told that it's on tonight's agenda or have been informed that we're acting on this? Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion? All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That motion carries. Item F is a resolution rejecting all bids received on October 23rd, 2019 to furnish and install a new carpet in the Town Hall Council chambers, further described in a memo from the facilities superintendent to the town manager dated November 18th. We hear a motion.
Was there a reason why they were rejecting?
Bid bust. They were all too expensive.
Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve item 13F.
Second.
So moved. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
That motion carries. And 13G, a resolution authorizing an award of contract to M&R Floors of Lynn Lane, Mapleville, Rhode Island, under the State of Rhode Island Master Price Agreement to furnish and install a new carpet and all appurtenances in the Town Hall Council chambers in an amount not to exceed $16,989, including a $1,600 contingency, with funding appropriated from the Town Hall Building Improvement Fund, further described in a memo from the facilities superintendent to the town manager dated November 18th.
I'll make a motion to approve 13G. Or 13F, rather. Or is
No, that was G.
G. Just a quick question on none of our local suppliers, did they actually submit?
So yeah, I mean, we did go out for a request for proposals, and we got some proposals in. They were all over the price. So we went to the state master agreement price, and it's within our budget.
On the bid,
Slightly above our
I guess the only question I have is on the bids that came in, just for information, I guess I'm looking at. Did we get any local bidders or just all out of?
Nobody local bid.
We have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Let me just make a statement on this. So, I mean, the carpet's in bad shape, right? But it's not that bad. So, personally, I'd rather see the 16.5 go to keeping the Cox communication live telebroadcast as opposed to putting 16.5 on the floor. That's just my personal feeling. I understand, Ms. Schoenard. I, too, was a town council viewer every other Monday night, and I understand, the access that you'll lose. Hopefully, we can help you with the live stream, because I think I'm the lone outside person up here on this issue. But I'd rather see the 16.5 go to the Cox thing. Anyway, this is about the carpet, so I'm going to vote no on the carpet.
I would, for the council's information, say, the proposal had been that we take the $10,000 that we spend on live broadcasting and use those funds to figure out how to make the planning board and the school building committee and the zoning board of review broadcast on the internet. Since we started this conversation, we think we've figured out some ways to achieve many of those objectives without $10,000 additional dollars. I think we may be able to do carpet and figure out how to keep cable going, and at the same time figure out how to get YouTube or something working for us on live broadcasts of over the internet of some of these other meetings. This is an evolving concern. This is going to require our figuring out how to meet the public where they now are, which is Facebook and YouTube and Instagram. We're going to have to figure out where our media, where our public is, and we're going to have to figure out how to meet them there.
I just don't think we've figured that out yet.
We haven't. Yeah. Yep. And, you know, right.
Are you telling the truth?
All right.
I think they're related issues, but I think also the carpeting is something that's been needing to be replaced for a very long time. Next, I'd like to see the chairs replaced, but that's just my personal preference, you know. But I'll take the carpet for now.
All right. Do I hear a second? 13G.
What was the motion?
It was for approval.
Second.
All right. We have a motion to second. Any discussion on this
I have
item?
discussion. Have we explored how much it would be to save the hardwood floors that are under this carpet and potentially plywood? I mean, they're...
How bad it's going to echo in here? No carpet?
That won't work on TV, will it?
It's Mark Russo. Underneath this carpet is 3/4 inch plywood. You'd have to, and it's screwed in, nailed in, so it would be
Into the hardwood.
possible. And then with the noise that it would make, or Dale's office, they'd be, you know, going crazy. So, and it is 30 years old, so.
Oh, it's 30 years old, there's no question
30,
about
yeah.
that.
Is there going to be a nice padding underneath it, or just...
Actually, it's going to be just like that carpet there, but a different color.
There.
It's right on top of the railing there. So, and the rest of the building's been done. This is the last room.
Yes, please.
The rest of the building got everything.
Yeah, right.
When are we getting air conditioning in here?
2023.
Spend it on carpet.
So the one thing that Mark has introduced here that I think is helpful is that this will be carpet squares, so that when there is a spill or
Replace them.
Yep.
that one square can be replaced, and we're not looking at stains for a long period of time.
Mark, they're going to have to lift all the chairs up and put them back, or...
It's part of the bid, yes. They're going to remove all the furniture and put it back, yes. Maybe we can get a little bit more room in between them, so.
And one last quick question, is the carpet going to match the chairs?
It's actually going to be closer to this darker color here, which was the original color. It's all faded bad, so. The new carpet is a color through and through, so it won't fade.
Thank you.
So we had a second?
Thank
Call the vote.
Yeah. We have motion.
Am I hearing that I'm going to get both?
No, you're not hearing that yet.
Voting.
We're gonna-
This is totally unrelated.
Unrelated, you can't put the two together.
I
It's not a
will
quid
say
pro
this.
quo.
We are here to faithfully execute the policies and votes of the town council. If the town council should vote for carpet and the town council should vote for continuing cable live broadcast, we will do both of those things.
Thank you for that clarification, Rob. All right, we have a motion and a second. 13G. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
No.
With a vote of 4-1, 13G does pass. I did not expect that to be the big item of discussion. 13H is a resolution authorizing the town manager to sign a retainer agreement on behalf of the town with McDonald Hopkins of Bloomfield Hills, Michigan, to formalize the attorney-client relationship for purposes of providing legal counsel solely related to a cyber loss, and to pay $2,500 deductible required by the Rhode Island Interlocal Risk Management Trust, further described in a memo from the town solicitor's office to the town council and town manager dated November 18th.
Just quickly, this is an unusual situation. Normally, when a matter goes to the trust hires legal counsel, who then takes care of it. We always pay our deductible. That's the way it works, just like we all pay deductibles on our own insurance. There were 3 cybersecurity issues are unfortunately new for communities, not so new for companies and other, but now they've made their way into municipalities, which is why the Rhode Island Interlocal Trust, on behalf of all the municipalities, is making coverage available, fortunately. There are actually 3 towns, not just SK, but 3 towns that got caught up in this early on. And when they first began this process and doing their research and due diligence, the arrangement was such that although they would pay the actual legal bills, the law firm providing the representation that they found at a reasonable price is requiring the towns or the actual clients to sign a retainer agreement. So for those 3 towns, us being one of them, that will be the case for this one instance. But going forward, that will no longer be the case. If, God forbid, we have another incident like this, we will simply refer to the trust. They will hire the legal counsel, et cetera. But this is just truly unique circumstances. But I want to make it very clear, it's not costing the town a dime extra. This is more a process issue or procedure issue is all it is.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion on 13H?
I'll make a motion to approve 13H.
Second.
So moved. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
That motion carries. 13I is a resolution directing the town manager to inform Cox Communications that the town does not intend to continue live broadcasts of the town council meetings and will instead rely on the broadcast of recorded meetings, described in a memo from the town manager to the town council dated November 20th. Now is a good time for this discussion. Do I hear a motion? Do I?
I have a quick few comments on this. I think because we are elected officials, we should be held more accountable than those who are appointed to different boards and commissions by the council. For that reason, I believe that we should continue our contract with Cox Communications for live TV of our meetings. I think it's important for the public to be informed. There are a lot of people out there who don't even know how to live stream meetings. So for that reason, I will be voting against this as well. I think it's important that, our meetings are live on TV for residents to see. Again, I think people, it's not easy to, initially go online and understand how to live stream the meetings. As long as it's on TV and they know the time and date, they can watch. If they have to live stream, they may not watch it. So for that reason, I will be voting against this as well.
The only thing I would like to say is that there are plenty. This meeting is very, very important, but there are plenty of other meetings that are very important to other folks in the town as well. So if we can find a way to find a win-win, then I would support it. At the present time, I think based off of some of the comments up here, I think we should hold off on informing Cox until we can come up with some other options that maybe we can look at from the council level to see if we can approve it that way.
My concern for discontinuing the live broadcast is we have an aging population, and a lot of seniors don't have the right...
Smart TVs?
Yeah, smart TV, a laptop, a way to stream this, right? I know Cox provides basic cable for low-income people. I think it's really important that we keep the live broadcast going until we can ascertain, till we can see really what the impact of discontinuing it is.
So, Rob, quick question. We're currently not in contract with Cox, right? So the question I have is, right now, this meeting is not live, right?
So we are currently not in contract with Cox.
Okay, but...
Whether this meeting is being broadcast, I can't tell you.
Okay,
Because
so,
our communications with Cox have not been great. They've not told us that we're off the air.
okay, but our plan was originally to live stream via the internet, and then,
We are live streaming now.
but then secondly, that tape would then make its way to Cox, and it would make it onto a different day's programming?
The broadcasts have always and would forever be sent down to Cox for broadcast tomorrow evening, Tuesday evening, and then they also get rebroadcast as we want. You know, we can enter into we can sort of assign the rebroadcast for other places in the schedule under discussion with Cox.
So the biggest positive, I guess, for doing it live is if someone was watching something on TV, they could make their way down to the council rather than watching it the following evening?
I think the biggest plus for doing live broadcasting on cable is that it's convenient. It's an easy way for folks to just tune in and see what's going on. If you're not familiar with the internet, if you don't feel comfortable doing the live streaming, or you don't want to wait, then being able to just sit down at 7 o'clock or 7:30 and turn your TV on is certainly more convenient. That's the thing. If I had data, I'd feel a lot more comfortable advising the council in this one. If I knew that we had, 100 viewers per meeting, I'd be able to tell you, we've got 100 people who are relying on this. I don't have those data. Cox simply does not have data that they can provide. The only data point we've got is that we know 52 people, because we collect the data on live stream, 52 people watch the live stream every week. If that same number is the number using Channel 14 to access this information in the live broadcast, then going live costs us $8 per person per meeting. Right? Yeah, that's about right. $8 per person per meeting. $10,000, something like that.
More than that.
Yeah.
You said,
We don't really have the capacity to do a scientific survey around this question. We just... Yeah. So...
Through the internet.
Right. Right. Actually, we did have one of the local newspapers took it upon themselves and did do a survey online. But it was online. It was an online newspaper asking people, do you watch it? And I wouldn't say it's conclusive. And I don't disagree. The question from my perspective is really just, can we do better in terms of full and open public access to all of the things that the town government is doing by redeploying $10,000 a year to make sure that we've got the video equipment and the folks posting other meetings. The loss is a day. That was the rationale behind this proposal. We lose a day, but we don't lose the bits. We don't lose the bytes. We don't lose the video. It's still there. It's just coming a day late. Now, I'm sympathetic to the assertion that, if it's a day late and I wanted to get in my car and comment on it, it's just too late. It's.
We don't want anyone speeding to the town hall, though. So. Leslie, can you go up to the mic, please?
You were saying, other committees. Now, when there's an issue with the planning board or some of these other committees, it's advertised in the paper or people have a personal interest, they're there. Now, so as far as them turning in on a regular planning board meeting. I don't see that happening. I do see it happening on TV live because people, that might be part of their entertainment, but to go to a committee meet, I mean, they'll go to the committee meetings that affect them. Planning board affects me, I'm going to be at the meeting. If some other, so I don't see all of a sudden people are going to turn into the planning board or whatever. I just don't see that happening.
Leslie, the only thing I would add to that, because one of the committees that we've been getting complaints about is the school building committee.
Okay.
The times that we generally meet are during the day, and we're going to be rotating them to evening meetings as well. But it's those meetings that folks can't get to because they're working. They want to be able to go online and watch the videos at a different point.
And I see your point, Brian, I do. But I do think that the town council is different. You are our elected officials. Whatever happens in the town affects all of us. I mean, so does the school, but not everybody has kids in the schools, but I support the schools. So I think it's important, because you are elected officials, that we see what you're doing live on a regular basis. That's just my opinion, and I think there's more bang for your buck that way. Even with the voters, I think it's more bang for your buck. It's my opinion.
Thank you. So we're going to look into it, right?
So this is a challenge we've got to figure out. I mean, I have to tell you, the number one thing that I think I hear as a complaint is we didn't know about it. We didn't know enough about it. We didn't hear about that until, so my complaint earlier tonight about the state government holding a hearing and not hearing about it until after the fact is a common concern, a common complaint. And I do think that these days, most, maybe not all, and I think that we can't just discount those who aren't in the majority on this. We owe an obligation of transparency and
open government
communication to everybody, but most are feeling like we're not in the channels they're in. We're not on Facebook in the same way that they'd like us to be. We're not on Instagram at all. We're not on YouTube. You can't just hit, click here and watch the last planning board meeting, click here and see the last school building committee meeting. That's frustrating to folks, and we are going to have to figure out how to be where they are. In the 19th century, we had folks build these buildings, these rooms, because this was the mode of government communication to the people. And now this room is rarely full, but the internet is. That's where they are.
All right, so we don't have any motion on this item yet. I don't know if we're there. I mean, I can see, obviously, both sides of this issue. I mean, there have been a number of complaints in town that people don't have access to boards and commissions, and they don't feel there's enough transparency around here. There's currently, all of our meetings are broadcast on TV, not live at this point, and we're also live streamed. So, I mean, I think if there is a way to live stream boards and commissions without a big expense, we should try to do both. So I'm interested in hearing more about those ideas. I think, if people really want to see us live, I hope they will come to our town council meetings more frequently.
I think I agree with you, and I think what we should do in this case, I'd like to make a motion that we ask the town manager to investigate some other options and potential plans that we can review as a council before we inform Cox that we're terminating. At the present time, if Cox is still broadcasting, that's okay with me. If they're not, then that's another issue. But at the same time, as long as we're working towards figuring out a solution, I would be comfortable with taking the next 2 weeks to come up with some options regarding the live broadcast.
Motion then to continue this?
Yes.
To the next agenda? Second.
So moved. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And that motion carries. That brings us to the end of tonight's agenda. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
So moved. Discussion?
No.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And that closes our meeting. It is 9:02.
Thanksgiving, I think she's going to...
He sent a kind of not nice email last time. At least I thought.
Well, I think it was just pointed.
It wasn't very warm and fuzzy. I think she wanted to say more. Hi. How are you? Oh, no problem.
All right. I hope... My pleasure. My pleasure. Yeah.
He wasn't there at the meeting.
Yeah.
The other guys were filming the panel and stuff.
Yeah. Good. Good. I hope it did some good. All right.
Sorry we bored them, right?
We doubled the in-person.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Thank you very much. You too, Joe. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Rory, have a nice Thanksgiving. Happy
Hey, you know,
Thanksgiving.
that Monday is my birthday, so if it does happen, don't forget.
Wait, which Monday is your birthday?
The 6th of January. The Epiphany.
That's my brother's birthday.
I think I knew that, actually, on Facebook.
I have one. And I don't disagree. I mean, this question.
I was dying.
As an earnest
Someone here to speak, and I'm